There's a petition that's going around, and a group wants to ban the declawing of cats. They call it cruel, and I guess it's different than the province getting involved in telling you whether or not you can own a pit bull. But do we really need more legislation governing our pets? Is this cruelty? Deidre Wilson joins us right now. Adopt Me Canada Cat Rescue. And Deidre, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. How are you?
Good, thank you very much. It's not your group that's behind this petition for the new legislation, but is it cruelty?
It is, yes. What I always like to let people know is that it is not just my opinion. Declawing is actually banned in 40 countries. So essentially, the breakdown of it is 10 separate amputations from the bone. So essentially, you are disabling the cat. And 1 out of 3...
How are you disabling the cat?
Because it's 10 separate amputations from the bone. It's one of the most painful surgeries that is performed on cats.
How do we know it's... I get they're probably screeching. Is that the reason we know it's painful?
No, they actually test pain medication on declawed cats.
So, do they put these cats under when they do this?
Yes, they do. Usually the cats are in for the clinic for about 2 days, and then they're on pain patches for a few days after that, and then they have to be on antibiotics for another 2 weeks. So the human equivalent of this procedure is to cut from the knuckle up. So like I said, we are essentially disabling the cats, and what I always strive is it is banned in 40 countries.
So it's different from cropping a tail. We're talking about a petition to have legislation here in the province to ban declawing of cats. It's different from cropping a tail.
No, essentially it all falls into the same category of unnecessary cosmetic procedures such as tail docking, ear cropping, and debarking. So it is essentially the same thing, but I would say declawing is more painful than tail docking. Tail docking is done very early.
I wonder how many people are listening right now who have declawed their cat, and that they care more about themselves and their furniture than maybe they shouldn't have a cat.
Well, I always try to tell people, too, that you should not modify the cat to fit your environment. You should modify the environment to fit the cat. And really, at the end of the day, it's so easy.
But if you love your stuff, and you're having to decide whether or not, hey, I think I like cats, but I really love my stuff, you've made your decision already, and you don't even know it, that you shouldn't have a cat.
Well, yes and no. I think if you want a cat, you should have a cat. And it's so easy. It's so easy to train them. There's scratching posts. You can get them at many different price points, too. The dollar store sells cardboard scratching posts. The cats absolutely love them. So really, if we can toilet train our children, it's just as easy to train a cat, if not easier. There's squirt bottles. If you catch the cat scratching your couch, you squirt them. Or there's another alternative. You clap your hands. You say no. You reward them with treats. Declawing is a lazy man's way out.
What percentage of cat owners do you think declaw?
That's a good question. More in the past, but now there's been more education available to people on declawing. And the problem is, too, if you do have a cat declawed, 1 out of 3 do tend to have behavioral problems.
And the vet has to do this, right?
Yes.
The vet probably makes a hell of a lot of money off of it, and I would think that any vet worth their salt would recognize that it's cruel and wouldn't do it.
You would hope so. There's about 10 clinics in Canada that do not offer declawing, and the downfall is 1 out of 3 declawed cats tend to have behavioral problems. So they're more likely to bite. They have aggression, psychological issues. They stop using a litter box due to phantom pains, where they urine and defecate permanently in the home. So a lot of them end up in shelters. So just because your cat is declawed, that does not save them from a shelter. It's more than likely a death sentence.
It doesn't sound like anybody wants to have a cat after that explanation.
Well, it's just simply what it boils down to. There are people that have their cats declawed, and they say, I haven't had any problems. But, I see such a high percentage. The Toronto Humane Society has a no declaw policy. The SPCA has a no declaw policy. So all cat rescues in Canada and all shelters have this policy for a reason. Otherwise, they're going to end up with us back at the day, and they're really,
Do you get a lot of declawed cats that you try to adopt out? I'm out of time, so yes or no, I guess.
Sure. No, I won't accept them into my care unless I find them homeless on
All right. I got to run along, Deidre. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
I was out of time and I asked another question. How smart am I? Straight ahead, folks. Tom Flanagan. take it. Another guy got himself in trouble.